you can see in the graphics that there's a gold body. From that gold body, by the way, is your spirit. It's also called your astral body. And it can duplicate itself. You can have more than one, which is kind of neat. Especially, that's the part of you that astral travels. From that gold body extend 72,000 strings that I call mind strings. And they get all knotted. They get all messed up. And they end up looking like the hairball that cats vomit when they've been licking themselves, and those mind streams have 5 fingers at the end, and they grab onto things such as your favorite teddy bear when you were a baby, the one that if it got lost you would scream hysterically, or friends that you haven't been able to see because of the lockdown. Or if you had a grandparent that passed, you could have thousands of those mind streams still holding on to the memory of that grandparent that has passed. So those mind streams are very important, and they're part of your tool. They're the major part of your tool for creation. So having them be the way they're supposed to be, which is extending out from the center, which is where those spheres are. Those are called chakras, which are energy centers that have to do with different things in your life. Having them in the right configuration, which is basically extended with the 5 fingers at the end, almost as if they were floating in water, rather than like that, or grabbing a part of your body, such as your stomach. If you get stomach aches, you'll have thousands of those strings grabbing your stomach. So they're supposed to flow, because anytime they don't flow and you have hundreds or thousands of them grabbing something, whether it's a part of your body, whether it's your brother's neck because you want him to shut up, or whatever it might be that you think about too much and you're kind of holding on to with your mind, wherever those mind streams get out of their position, which is like a little umbrella, like a canopy that surrounds you, then you kind of have like a hole there. And then a lot of negative stuff comes in. Those holes are called portals, and they complicate life. And planet Earth now has a lot of portals, and we're having a lot of problems because of that. But we're not going to get into we need to save the planet now. We're going to get into, we want you to be happy. But today, in order to be happy, we really have to work on it. About 55 years ago, medical sciences did a lot of studies, and they wanted to know if when you're unhappy and you're stressed, if you can get actually physically sick. And science proved it, that there is a connection between being stressed, unhappy, miserable, mad, confused, can create disease. We already know it causes stomach aches and a lot of muscle tensions, changes of personality. Well, those studies were called psychoneuroimmunology. And the conclusion was, yes, if you're stressed, you're feeling a lot of negative emotions, you can get sick, even if it's just a stomach ache, but later on it can be an ulcer. And if you're old, it could be a heart attack. So being able to deal with those negative emotions is very important. And it's especially important today because of the fact that we have so many things going on planet Earth that is going to make all of us very unhappy. So we need to work on dealing with the stuff that makes us unhappy. From the outside, it's very difficult for somebody to be able to take care of that for you. Sometimes adults take care of their unhappiness by drinking too much, working too much, doing a lot of pills to be able to sleep, etc., because they need relief. Hi, Lucky. This is my little dog. She is a stress reliever. Okay, but this is not the time for you, and I'm not going to pay attention to you. Having pets has been proven to reduce stress in a household and for individuals. But maybe you lost a pet. Maybe there's a pet that you wanted that you're not able to have because you live in an apartment, and that would make you sad. Well, you got to do something with these negative emotions. And it's not that there's something the matter with you. It's very much that you are human. The difference between us and machines, now especially that they're robots, are our emotions, our emotional reactions to life and things that happen. And actually, the things that happen to us make us kind of different from everybody else. So there's not just negative aspects to having things happen that make you unhappy. There is some positive, but you don't have to live with the sadness or the anger or the frustration or the confusion that comes from having things happen in your life that can make you sad or angry or confused or fearful. Right now, with what's going on in the planet, everybody's frightened. Everybody is frightened. If they're not frightened for themselves, they're frightened for their grandparents, or they're frightened for their parents that they might be left without jobs. So dealing with negative emotions is important. So I'm going to give you a couple of techniques that are relatively easy for you to incorporate. So the first one that I'm going to give you is called the Apana Mudra. And I'm going to put it up on screen, the name of it, and I'm going to show you. It's very simple. But the first thing I want you to do is I want you to kind of figure out how it is that you feel. What are you feeling now? Like from 1 to 10. 1 is feeling really bad, like sad, lonely, just feeling bad. 10 feeling great. So from 1 to 10, where are you at? Figure that out. Just say it in your head. Where are you at? And even the adults that are listening, where are you at? So now, and feel your body, okay? The tension in your body. Now I want you to take your fingers and take the 2 middle fingers and touch it to your thumbs like that. And I want you to check out and see how you feel. Now, if you noticed, I sat back in my chair. If you're even more attentive and you pay attention to details, you probably can tell that my voice is softer and more feminine, which is good because I'm a female. I don't really shouldn't be letting everybody know how hyper I can be because of a lot of stress and wanting to do a lot, such as wanting you to get these little techniques so that you can kind of, when you get unhappy, have something that you can do about it and not hide it from your parents. So how do you feel when you do that? Pay attention. Did you relax a little bit? Was it easier to sit still? Did you feel any better? So this is called an Apana Mudra. Most people think there's only one kind of breath, and it's called prana. Most young kids are not going to know that. Prana is little green dots that are in the air that you can't really see. But there's a second kind of breath, and it's called apana. And it's the breath for the lower half of the body. So when you do this, you're energizing the lower part of your body. Well, that's pretty important because those are your legs and your hips and your feet, but it's also the energy centers at the bottom of your body have to do with prosperity, with having what you need, having, if what you need is money to pay for things, having that, or having a secure home, or having people in your house not fighting. That's all the lower energy centers. So this can help you to kind of create that. You see, when you get nervous, even if you don't say anything and you just have a stomach ache, because your nervousness concentrates in your stomach, those strings get all knotted up in your stomach area. That area is called the solar plexus. And you don't say anything. Oh, I'm fine, Mom. I'm fine. I'm okay. Or your dad says, oh, I'm fine, when he's not. That energy pops off of your body and hangs in the air and usually goes onto the people that we have around us that we pay attention to, such as loved ones. It can also go to your pet. Like if my pet that's sitting in my lap starts to mope around and is not really that active, okay? I don't know what this is. Oh, here we have somebody who's trying to, let me try and get rid of him because he may end up taking too much of our time. Anyway, so if you take your emotions and
starts to mope around and
you don't really process them, okay? They kind of like you push them down. They can keep going down into your arms and your legs and your stomach where you get the stomach aches, but they can pop out, okay? and transfer to your pet. Like I was saying, if my pet is moping, kind of not so happy and not so playful, I already know that my pet is reflecting my energies, that I'm not so happy about something. And if my pet gets very nervous and frightened, like if you're going to touch her, she goes like this, or she's just nervous, you can tell, I know that it's my nervousness or it's somebody that's close by, because energies and emotions transfer. So even if you don't want to take care of you think you can handle, being a little bit unhappy or whatever, you really want to take care of them because you don't want your little brother or sister or your parents or your grandmother or even your friends to have bad stuff that came from you. And it's not your fault. Human beings have done this forever. Okay, so you have this mudra that I strongly suggest you use if you're trying to concentrate in school, because when you do this, it's easier to concentrate. And there's so much that's distracting today. Like if you're in front of the computer because you're in class online and there's a cell phone that rings over there, or somebody's listening to a YouTube video or the door bangs, your attention goes to that. If you do this mudra, you can stay more focused on what it is that you're supposed to be doing, which is paying attention to the teacher or paying attention to whatever it is that you're supposed to be paying attention to. A lot of times, human beings, especially in the last few years, we're not listening to each other. We're too anxious. So if somebody's kind of trying to talk to you, or you're kind of jumpy and you want to talk to somebody, do this mudra and it's going to help you. So let's go to the next little, I was going to say weapon. Yes, weapon in this war on the human misery that's like a virus that's taking over the planet. Okay? So it's like a little weapon. It works. So let me put it up on screen. This is a mantra. So you see those 72,000? Okay. Those 72,000 strings that extend from that gold body, the mind streams, they have a liquid in them that comes in from the heavens, comes in and pours through the center axis, and then it goes out through the strings. Kind of neat. That's referred to in the Bible. Those strings get all knotted up when you get frustrated, angry, frightened. So this is a purification mantra. I usually make mistakes in spelling when I put them on because I'm always in too much of a hurry. I want to do things too fast because I'm afraid that I'm going to bore people. I don't want to bore you. Okay, so I try to do it fast so that you don't get bored. So I need to do this a lot so that I can relax. And if you get bored, you get bored. There's nothing I can do. I'm doing the best that I can, which is what you need to know, is that you're doing the best that you can. So here we go. A mantra liberates those thousands of strings because they get caught up, especially with negative emotions. So the mantras are repeated in silence. You don't move your mouth. I'm going to repeat this 3 times out loud, and you can follow along, but say it silently. Don't move your mouth, okay? So, even though I'm frustrated, or if you want to say angry or mad, that's okay. You know what? Let me change the word to mad, because that's more, frustrated is very adult. Mad. Lots of people are mad today. Got it? Lots of people, even though sometimes they won't admit it. So even though I'm mad, I love and accept myself. Even though I'm mad, I love and accept myself. Even though I'm mad, I love and accept myself. So now, I'm not going to say it out loud. I'm going to say it 7 more times silently. I'm only moving my mouth to expel the breath. And catch yourself, pay attention, because a lot of us will, without even realizing it, I'm trying to get comfortable in my chair again, we will move our mouth. Don't move your mouth. 7 times, okay? I'm going to do it with my fingers so you'll know. I'm going to start repeating that mantra. Even though I'm mad, I love and accept myself. Of course, I misspelled it because I was wondering what that letter was doing there. And it's the letter I. Okay. Even though I'm mad, I love and accept myself. Okay, 7 times, silently. Okay, we did it 10 times. Did you notice that my voice is even softer? That sh, which is fire, the element of fire, like airbender, it's the element of air. This is the element of fire. I have too much fire. But when I do the purification mantra or the apana mudra, my fire gets kind of put out. Probably I get a lot more pleasant to be with. Same thing will happen to you. Now, from 1 to 10, how do you feel? Are you more relaxed? Are you calmer? I think most of you will say, yeah, I kind of feel calmer. The purification mantra is purifying that feeling of being mad or frustrated or angry. Um, and we're all frustrated today. It's been many years that the planet has been delivering stuff to us on a daily basis. It's very hard to deal with. And we're in a stage in which we're going to transition into a very beautiful era called the Golden Age, in which everybody is going to be incredibly happy and powerful and magical. We're in the part right before we slide into the Golden Age. By the time we get there, we're going to be exhausted. We're in the bad part, like in the bottleneck, like getting born, where it's a nightmare, and then all of a sudden, whoof, the baby sees the light, and everybody's there ready to hug them and kiss them and take care of them. So we're not in a good place historically at this moment, but we are going to a very good place. And that is basically every religion and every group is teaching that. But it's kind of hard to remember that with everything that we're going through, especially these latest issues having to do with health that has everybody so frightened. So let's do a little one having to do with being scared about somebody getting sick, because that's a big one. Even though I'm scared, someone will get sick. Let me put you down, okay? It's hard for me to write correctly. Okay. Even though I'm afraid they're going to get sick, or even I'm afraid someone's going to get sick. I think I got that spelled right. Okay, so let's try this little mantra. It's a purification mantra. Okay, so why are we going to do this? Because those 72,000 strings, in Buddhism, they call it the monkey mind. What does that mean? That they're always moving around, grabbing onto anything. Right now, your monkey mind, and we all have those 72,000 strings, is grabbing onto the bad news that people can get sick, that maybe your grandparents can get sick and die, or your parents can get sick, or you can get sick, or a friend of you can get sick. And some people actually have gotten sick. So there's that fear constantly in the head, like recycling and compulsive thinking. And it's not, you don't even have to be a compulsive thinker to be afraid, because there's so much in the news and there's so much talk about it. You can't go to school regularly because of that fear. So it's almost like being put on us, like slammed on us, like poured onto us, this information that is making us afraid. And fear is the one emotion that can really knock you out. You cannot do your best in an exam when you take it when you're afraid. It actually makes you kind of less intelligent. You're a lot less fun to be with when you're afraid. You're a lot closer to becoming sick when you're afraid. You don't react as quickly when you're afraid. You're kind of like this, and something happens, and you're not like this. You go like this. Well, can't get away from danger if you're like this. So being able to take care of fear is very important. So let's try this one 10 times. Okay, so we're going to do the purification mantra 10 times. I'm going to do it once out loud. Remember, it's always in silence. You repeat the words in your head. Okay, so even though I'm afraid someone's going to get sick, I love and accept myself. Even though I'm afraid someone's going to get sick, I love and accept myself. Now, 9 more times in silence. If you're sitting, put your 2 feet on the floor. It'll make you even more stable emotionally. Okay. I kind of had a little gasp come out here, like some air, and I didn't really think I was afraid of anybody getting sick, but I guess I was. That means it was subconscious. I wasn't consciously aware of it. And that's what happens when we don't deal with things and we don't talk about it. It goes deeper and eventually it gets into your uh, bone, your muscles, your bones, your heart. And that's what they call those studies I told you about, this called psychoneuroimmunology, to where these negative emotions end up getting into your physical body and your health, and you end up becoming sick. So this little gasp that got released with the mantra is good. How do you feel now after having done this? How are you feeling? When I say important stuff, my nose starts to bother me. And I've noticed a couple of other astrologers who say the same thing. They go, why is it that when I'm going to say something important, my nose starts to bother? I'll tell you about the why of that another day. Okay? So you already checked yourself out. Okay. You can you see how much better you feel? Are you more relaxed? Are you more grounded? Maria Luz, is your child feeling better? Are you able to ask him? Is he old enough to know on the scale of 1 to 10? Or if any of you have your children, if you can ask them, that would be great. They can put it up here. So, okay. So now he's relaxed. Okay. That's good. It's very relaxing. And I feel, by the way, very relaxed. I am making myself not rush. I did the Apana Mudra, which I never do with my own chats. So I should do my own chats and follow my own advice and relax myself before I start to talk. And I don't do that because I'm too much in a hurry to make sure that people don't get bored and that I give them enough. We all have our little mental things. Um, so maybe, see, that probably means that I would be kind of like embarrassed, which really means ashamed, that my chats wouldn't be good enough. So let's do a little mantra having to do with being ashamed, even if you don't feel it. Okay? So let's do even though I'm ashamed. Let me get this correct here. And we don't really know what you're ashamed of. I just kind of figured out that I'm ashamed that I may bore people. Huh? And I'm supposed to be an entertainer. I've been on TV a lot. And so I guess it makes sense that I would feel ashamed that I would bore them if I was too slow. So let's go ahead and do this one. I'm going to say it 3 times out loud. We're going to do it 10 times. And you can follow me, but say it silently. Do not move the mouth. One of the good things about not moving the mouth is that other people aren't going to know you're doing a mantra. You can do it in school. Like if you do something and everybody notices and you feel kind of ashamed, you can do the mantra and nobody's going to know you're doing it. You're going to feel better. Okay, so I'm going to do 3 times out loud. You're going to do it silently and then 7 more times. Okay, so even though I'm ashamed, I love and accept myself. Even though I'm ashamed, oh, look, I love and accept myself. Even though I'm ashamed, I love and accept myself. And now silently, always silently, but now I'm going to do it silently. Okay, we did it 10 times. And do you see the way my breath went? So obviously there's something I'm ashamed about having to do with these chats. How are you guys doing with it? Okay. So when you're in school, everything, at least in this country, is very competitive. You're in school, you get grades. So did you get the best grades or the worst grades? and you get a job, and then how much money you make is saying how good you are or what your title is in the company. And everything is like competition. And so it's very easy to be ashamed, because if you didn't make the A's or the B's, then you're ashamed that you're not as good as the ones who did that, especially if your parents insist that you have good grades. So when you find that you're kind of like a little bit embarrassed, or you get kind of defensive about something that you did, you do this mantra a few times. You're going to feel better. But you know what the neat part is? Because of the transference of energy, sometimes you feel ashamed and you don't say it. And so then your mother gets ashamed that you didn't do well at school. But meanwhile, that shame she's feeling actually started with you, but you didn't show it because you kind of showed that you really didn't care that much. But you did. You squashed it down and it popped up in the other dimensions and landed on your mother. So it's whatever it is that you're feeling negative, you got to find it very quickly, real quick, and do a mantra for it, because you don't know who it's going to land on, being it that you're probably not going to talk about it. There's a thing about society in that nobody, even the psychologists, did not look up the definition of the word emotions. In the dictionary, if you look it up, the word emotion means to move out. But when we have emotions, our families and society teaches us to put them away inside of ourselves, not a drawer, inside of us. And they end up in our muscles, our tissues, our heart, our stomach, because people don't know the definition of the word. So anytime you're doing something important, look up the definition of the word. You might be really surprised, and you might also really impress your teachers. But it's information. So you're not supposed to swallow your emotions. You're not supposed to put them away. Now, most people don't like to talk about them. So then you have to figure out a way, and you can either write about it and then burn it, throw it away so nobody can read it, or you just do a mantra in silence and you take care of it. You're going to feel a lot better. I mean, a whole lot better. So give me a second. Let me see what the comments are in the chat, and then I'm going to try and show you something. Okay? You're 44. You're a good age, a little bit older than what the chat is directed at, but I'm sure it's still working. So that's good. Now, I have discovered, which is not a new discovery. They know that in Buddhism and in a lot of other, Buddhism is a philosophy, it's not a religion. Okay, you can be a Catholic and a Buddhist. You can be Jewish and a Buddhist. It's really a philosophy about the mind, and what you're seeing there in the graphic, the strings, that's part of the mind. Okay, so there are things that influence you, because I'm going to show you something next. That's why I'm talking about this, okay? I discovered, again, I didn't discover, a lot of people know this, but it is known that there's a lot of things that affect your mind. Your mind creates your reality. When you get depressed, your muscles can get depressed if you've been depressed long enough. Your bedroom can get depressed to where you go out and you're fine, and then all of a sudden you go back to your bedroom and you're all depressed again. Well, you need to open the windows, open the doors, and you need to put on some dance music to kind of beat up the air, move it around, so that those emotions that we already know that if you don't process them, you don't say anything, you don't cry, you don't yell, you push it down, it can pop up and land on your pet, on your little sister, on your parents, and they don't need any more than what they've already got. Neither does your pet need any more. That's why learning to process this is really very kind of you. You're being kind and nice to everybody around you. You're also being kind and nice to the plants around you, because you can literally kill a plant with bad energy. You don't have to yell at the plant. You can just be near the plant. If you're miserable enough, that plant will not flower, and it will be smaller in size than a plant that's in a place where people are happier. So basically, everything that's around you feeds off of your energy. So that shouldn't make you think, oh my God, no, I don't want to do that. No, this is when you are stuffing down the stuff you're feeling. What you have to do is process it. You have to either talk about it, You can do a mantra, which is why I'm here to teach you some very simple techniques that where you don't have to go and talk to the psychologist. By the way, talking does not take care of emotions. You can feel better about after talking about emotions, but you literally have to pull them out of your body, and these mantras do that. Okay, so you can have around you these great images in pictures and in what you see on the internet, and you're going to feel better if they're great and positive. But if you have a lot of images that are like on the video games of killings, even if it means you're trying to defend planet Earth or defend your family, those images accumulate in your mind. Your mind is a living thing. They get caught in the strings, the images, and then they get concreted in because you've seen so many killings. And then your mind gets depressed. And that's not obviously good because everything you touch is going to carry that energy. But even more than that, you're going to feel depressed, and life is kind of difficult. By the way, you know what those strings do when you're depressed? They droop. Rather than standing out like the tree's branches, they droop like this. And we call it feeling down. And those people who called it feeling down didn't actually see the strings, but they could kind of psychically intuit, feel that it's like down. And when you're very happy, the strings get higher. So it's kind of neat knowing about the strings, besides which, when they're in their proper position, they're an incredible protection against really bad energy. Okay, so everything that's around you that you can smell or hear or taste or see comes in and has a lot to do with your mood. Are you happy? Are you unhappy? Are you a negative person? Are you a positive person? So you have to kind of pay attention to everything that's around you. So I put together a therapy we call the Fox Sensory Therapy. Today, I got my second video that's for little kids. So I'm going to show it to you. When I got it, I was like, oh, no. This didn't work. This didn't come out right. It has my voice and it says continuous, even though I'm sad, I love and accept myself. So when I listen to it, oh my God, I feel miserable listening to this. And it's a video of turtles. You're going to see it now. I'm going to put it on for a couple of minutes. And I went, you know what? I think we got to change this. I don't like my voice. This is not working. It's in English. And then I sat outside and I started to cry about a pet that I lost many years ago. 50 some years ago. And I'm crying today about this pet. Well, I listened to this sensory therapy video. And whereas I thought it was no good and I wanted to throw it out the window, now I think it's actually really good because the images are very pretty. You'll see them now. The words, even though I'm sad, I love and accept myself, and you're listening to it continuously, basically, it's drawing out of your tissue, out of your muscles. It's drawing out sadness. In my case, that sadness was held in my throat. I had really tough parents. I was not able to cry. I was not allowed to. Didn't matter how much I loved my little pet, which was a squirrel. There was no crying allowed in my family. See the way my voice changed? And see the way I'm holding my throat? So I still have something there. But this really, really, really opened up when I was crying. And it's because of this video. So I'm going to put it on for you. I cannot put it on for you. I don't have a way to put it on for you. Darn it. Usually, if I have a camera, I can swing it around and show it to you. I cannot do it. I'm so sorry. It should be up tomorrow or the next day, and you can have, if you're old enough, you can find it on my Facebook and on YouTube. And if you're not, ask your parents to show it to you. And so prepare yourself. This is a video. I'm trying to figure out, is there any ingenious way that I could show you this? But no, I can't. Okay. You're going to cry when you see the video. And then maybe your mother's going to say, oh my God, why are you crying? Well, you know what? That crying is inside of you. That sadness is inside of you. It's not my sadness from my voice. That's inside of you. And that's what that therapy video is for, to stimulate, kind of like beat the bushes. And then the sadness comes up. In my case, it was the loss of a squirrel when I was under 10. I'm 72 now, so it's 62 years. So that kind of beat up on me in my mind. I'm sad, I love and accept myself. And this memory got released. I'm not sure completely, but almost completely from my throat, which means I'm going to have a much healthier throat. My voice is going to be better. And anything that could be the matter here, if I have congestions, is going to be less the matter. It's going to be healthier. So I'm sorry that I'm not able to show it to you. I don't know why I would have thought that I would have been able to, because I guess I thought I had my little camera. But anyway, so conclusion. We are on our way to a time called the Golden Age, and we are really on that way. One of the things in the Golden Age is superpowers and magic, which a lot of you kids know that you already have. You just don't talk about it because it's not so cool with the parents. But we're in a difficult time of a lot of negative emotions, a lot of very strong things happening that really can make you a little bit crazy if you're not careful. And then we get this whole thing with being sick and not being able to see your friends. So all these negative emotions can set you back when honestly we're on the way to a good place. So if you can try and use some of these techniques to take care of and process some of these negative feelings before they get into your stomach muscles, into your neck, the way it did, the death of that squirrel did to me, you're going to be happier. I don't know if you know this, but a lot of times there's somebody that sees movies and they go, I always cry when I see movies. And other people, no, I don't cry when I see movies. That person that always cries when they see movies, that crying is inside of them, having nothing to do with the movie. The movie opened a door and the crying came out, except they haven't. And then the door closes and it's back again. When you do these mantras, you get a door that opens, but whatever comes out stays out. So you're going to feel a lot better. So my name is Frances Fox again. I'm trying to do a series of chats to kind of teach younger people what their mind is like and what they need to do to protect it, such as not having too many negative images, and some techniques that are very, very old that really, really work and that cost $0 so that you can be happier in the midst of the chaos that we're living in today. Okay, so let me see if there's any questions, and if not, we'll say goodnight. I can bring another computer. I don't have it on the other, I can't do it, but it will be on, okay? Now, these are not dead turtles, these are beautiful turtles, okay? But it will be on my Facebook and my YouTube, it will be on every place. It's 1 hour long, and by the way, if you put it in your bedroom, you don't even have to be there. You just put it in your bedroom, and it's my voice, because we didn't take the time to find a professional voice. It's, even though I'm sad, I love and accept myself. You can leave your bedroom, because you see your sadness, or the sadness of the person that used to live in your bedroom, or the sadness from the little YouTube videos you see, or from the little video games. That sadness is in the air. You can't see it, but I can. That's why I'm here to teach you. So if you put the video on for 1 hour or for 6 hours, you have all these beautiful turtles. Those images will now be in your air also. And even though I'm sad, I love and accept myself, that mantra will be beating up the other dimensions of your bedroom, and there'll be less sadness there. Okay? You can be master of your destiny. You don't have to be a victim of unseen forces. Okay? Anyway, I love you a lot. And I hope listening to this helps you to get a grip on your life, helps you to manage these difficult times so that you can enjoy a lot of good stuff that's there. Okay?